Okay, hi everyone. So, what I'm doing today is I'm recording for my project in World War II. I hope no one bothers me during this because I'm losing my voice. I have the outline of the information we need to get today, and I thought it would be really cool to actually go with this and explore the evidence instead of just presenting it. I thought that idea was really interesting, so that's what I'm gonna try out today. Yeah, I hope it goes well. So yeah, Nazi. Okay, so my topic is Nazi experimentation, but I'm also including the Nuremberg trials in it as well. So yeah, let's get on that. Let's just move all these to the end real quick. So I went to PBS Nova Online, the experiments. I'll try and list all the things in here, and by the end we should have a completed thing for what we need on the. Let's get this. Okay. During World War II, Nazi doctors conducted as many as 30 different types of experiments on concentration camp inmates without consent. Indescribable pain, mutilation, permanent disability, near death as a result. At the Nuremberg doctors' trial, which brought 23 German doctors to trial immediately after the war, prosecutors found 15 defendants guilty of war crimes. High altitude experience at Dachau, eager to find out how best to save German pilots forced to eject at high altitude. They placed inmates in low-pressure chambers that simulated altitudes as high as 68,000 feet and monitored their physiological response as they succumbed and died. So, high altitude. Okay, now we have one of them done. Freezing. To determine the most effective means for treating German pilots who would become severely chilled from ejecting into the ocean, or German soldiers who suffered extreme exposure on the Russian front. Rache and others conducted freezing experiments at Dachau for up to 5 hours at a time. They placed victims into vats of icy water, either in aviator suits or naked. They took others outside in the freezing cold and strapped them down naked. As victims writhed in pain, foamed at the mouth, lost consciousness. The doctors measured changes in the patient's heart rate, body temperature, muscle reflexes, and other factors. When a prisoner's internal body temperature fell to 79.7 degrees Fahrenheit, the doctor tried warming him using hot sleeping bags, scalding baths. Some 80 to 100 patients perished during these experiments. What is up with this? Okay, freezing is one of them. For the benefit of the German army, those frontline soldiers suffered greatly from gas gangrene. Curbing such infections, they inflicted battle-like wounds, infected them, aggravated the infection, simulate what would happen to an actual war wound. Sorry if I'm pronouncing everything wrong. Okay, we're just going through this twins. Um, poison. Researchers at Bruchenwald developed a method of individual execution by injecting Russian prisoners with phenol and cyanide. Experimenters also tested various poisons on the human body, secreting chemicals in prisoners' food, and shooting inmates with poison bullets. Victims who did not die were killed so that they could perform autopsies. Poison. Yep. Tuberculosis. So they injected live tuberculosis bacteria stuff into the lungs of people at Nuremberg concentration camp. 200 adult subjects died. 20 children from Auschwitz hung in an effort to hide the evidence of the experiments from approaching Allied forces. TB. I'm not gonna write out tuberculosis. Phosgene. Attempt to find an antidote to phosgene, a toxic gas used as a weapon during World War I. Exposed 52 concentration camp prisoners to the gas. Prisoners who were weak and malnourished suffered pulmonary edema after exposure, and then 4 of them died. Okay, so phosgene. If I want to get through everything, I'm gonna have to go quicker. Sorry if I don't get everything, a compendium level of knowledge on everything. Bone, muscle, and joint transplant to learn if a limb or a joint from one person could be successfully attached to another who had lost that limb or joint. Experimenters at Ravensbrück amputated legs and shoulders from inmates that remove sections of bones, muscles, and nerves from prisoners to study regeneration of these body parts. Seawater. Dr. Hans Eppinger and others at Dachau conducted experiments on how to make seawater drinkable. Others drink seawater also drink. Okay, I'm just gonna put seawater as the last one. Okay, so there are a lot of statistics in here. So, a lot of this happened during, the later years of the war, 1942. And, okay, there's a lot of statistics on the patients that died, 80 to 100 patients died during the freezing, and, only about 200 pairs of the 1,000 pairs of twins experimented upon survived. There's a lot of statistics in here which are really interesting. Okay, so now this is nuremberglaw.harvard.edu. Effect statistics. I'm just gonna put a lot since I've already covered it with you guys. A lot. Trials. Who is involved? Well, if we go back to here, it says that there's a Nuremberg doctors trial which brought 23 German doctors to trial. So, who was involved? No, just give me the list. 23 German doctors. I'm typing with one hand here, so it's kind of hard. Who was involved? Okay, so there's the verdicts of the trial. These are all the people that were, I'm pretty sure these are all the people that were, on trial. I could be entirely wrong. There's the National Socialist German Workers' Party, which are the Nazis. Military, alphabetical list of persons involved. All I want to know is, okay, so these are all the people involved. A lot of people involved. So 23 German doctors and a lot more people. Summarized trial. 12 leading Nazi officials for death of crimes. Each of the 4 allied nations supplied a judge and prosecution team to the IMT for the selected German officials, representing a cross-section. The IMT indicated that the defendants on charges of crimes against peace, war crimes, and crimes against humanity, 3 of the 4 judges were needed for conviction. In the end, 12 defendants were sentenced to death. Among them, Joachim von Ribbentrop, Hans Frank, Alfred Rosenberg, and Julius Streicher. They were hanged, cremated, and their ashes dropped in the Isar River. Hermann Göring, second only to Hitler and Nazi regime, escaped the hangman's noose by committing suicide before his execution. The IMT sentenced 3 defendants to life imprisonment and 4 to prison terms within 20 to 20 years. Despite a series of post-war trials, many portrayers of Nazi-era criminality have never been tried or punished. So 12 of these people went to death. So I'm gonna write that in my thing. Summarized trial. Oh yeah, I need to add the thing again. 12 out of 23 of the doctors convicted. That's sentences / futures of those convicted. Sentenced to death. If I misspell things, I'll correct it. Hung, cremated, then had ashes dumped in, what was the river? Isar River. Okay, that should be all the information. Now this is all my sources. I hope I didn't go on too long with this. Bye.